Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
For Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, are the New Jersey Devils contenders or pretenders? And based on the fact that they lead the Metropolitan Division, I thought somebody said they led the entire NHL. I'll have to look that up. I'm going to have to vote that yes, indeed, they are contenders. And Angelo goes on to say, which, by the way, we will cater to those squeaky wheels that make the most noise. If Angelo wants to talk to us from Marietta, Georgia, about the National Hockey League, by dadgummit, that's what we're going to do. He says, what about Jack Campbell getting hit in the face with a puck while sitting on the bench last night for the Oilers? He left and didn't return. Sure. Listen, I didn't spend a lot of time on the bench as a backup. I was usually starting in goal. But you see why they make guys wear helmets in minor hockey if you're the backup goalie. Here's what I think. As a guy that's been hit by many flying pucks, and I have the mentality to prove it, it was luck of the draw. Ask a trainer, ask a coach, ask a stick boy. It's the front lines, man. It's going to happen. So he took a puck off the face. I assume you saw the play, Darren. How concerned were you for him?
Well, I'm always concerned when a goalie takes a puck off or anybody takes a puck off the face.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
My dad was walking through the Medicine Hat Mall. He was with Doug Sauter. It was Remembrance Day weekend that neither one of them had a poppy on. So they walked by the mannequin in the bay. Guess what? The mannequin has a poppy on his lapel. Come back together like an hour later. Sauter's wearing the poppy. My dad says, I was thinking about taking that poppy off the mannequin. Sauter goes, some people are thinkers, some people are doers.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. That is a very apropos intro. Good job, Director Jordan.
How about
we
that?
get ready to roll on your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk show. No TV today. No Game Plus TV for the next 3 days. So start spreading the news. Tell folks you can listen on WQEE 99.1 FM, noon in Georgia, or on YouTube Live. That's where we're coming at you from today as we welcome in the Moose, Darren Moose DuPont. He's residing in the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. Coming up on the program today, we've got soccer expert James Sharman. He and I are alum of the Score Television Network as we all talk World Cup. And everybody's a soccer expert now. We'll be talking about World Cup. Well, he is. He is. So we'll get the goods with James Sharman. And Mo Egger is going to join us from ESPN Radio Cincinnati. And I don't know, are we doing Bernie Nichols or are we not an hour or two? What did we decide on that? Okay. Dean Millard bailed. Bernie Nichols not answering his phone. So how do you like us so far? And I see, Moose, it's Seattle Kraken game day. You have your Kraken tracksuit on today, so we're ready to rock. Is that why you're wearing it?
That's it, baby. I actually... You know, it's funny doing the shows in the wintertime. Sometimes you just want to be comfy, and I'm looking through the closet. I got collared shirts. I got this. I'm like, see the tracksuit on the top shelf, and it just was calling my name today.
Good for you. Well, Director Jordan, can you please hit the Quick Six show horn and let's rock it. Let's go. And I'm going to incorporate my stories into the Quick Six show topics here. And we got to go fast because James Sharman's coming up next segment, and then more of me and you in hour 2. But a couple things. Number one, I won't be going to the Boston Bruins and the Florida Panthers tonight because we have things to do. Going to Bass Pro Shop, going to a friend's Mexican restaurant. So not going to that hockey game tonight. It's okay. I want to tell you about point one is the Cardinal Gibbons Chiefs high school football team. It went great. I appreciate everybody with your messages, DMs, Twitter comments, and Facebook. I was a little nervous going in to address those 65 young men, which incidentally, Moose, the 16th ranked team in all of America in high school football, the Cardinal Gibbons Chiefs. And they asked me to come in and talk to them about overcoming obstacles, motivation, relationships, that kind of thing. And the coach, Matt DeBuck, I don't want to say, like I love him. I was telling you earlier today, he's like a mini Jim Harbaugh. That's what he looks like. He's about 5'8". I think Jim Harbaugh's about 6'4". DeBuck looks like Jim Harbaugh. At least he does now. I don't know what he did 30 years ago. But he said to me, can you talk to him about real life? He's like, we got football covered here. We're good. Can you talk to him about life? And I said, well, what about it? He goes, well, they're not all going to go on to the NFL. They all think they're going to the NFL. Can you maybe tell them that they're not all going to the NFL? And there's other options in football and life. And I'm like, well, Coach DeBuck, I'm not going to shatter their dreams here today. They'll figure that out on their own. So I gave my 10-minute speech. He came over and hugged me after. And a lot of people have asked me if the kids were paying attention. They were dialed in. This is the 16th ranked high school team in all of America, as sponsored by NFL Play. Problem is they're playing the 11th ranked team this Friday night in American Heritage. So that's their nemesis. So anyways, I may go to that game or I may go to the Blues and the Panthers. I'm not sure yet, Darren, but it went well, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I wish you were with me, but one day, maybe you will.
That's really cool. That's awesome. You know, to be able to go in and speak to the kids, obviously, you'd have a ton to offer, but I think you got to go to that game. A 16 versus an 11
I know.
In the country, that feels like it's a big deal.
Just go, folks, right? Well, not now because you're watching streaming and you can't. It'll knock us off the air. But later on, do me a favor. You'll find this very interesting. Just Google USA high school football rankings. And the first thing will come up is that it's sponsored by NFL Play, and it's the top 100 teams. Imagine how many high schools there are in America that have football programs. And the 16th ranked is right down the street from me, 12 miles from here. Cardinal Gibbons High School. So it's a very exciting time. I'm going to pick it up. Just remind me later in hour 2. I want to just say how this reminds me of two things. One, the CFL deliberating whether they should expand into America, the untapped market, and how it reminds me of my recovery talks in the Saskatchewan government a few years ago. Well, it's led me to South Florida. Okay, just remind me of that. Okay. We should mention that the Kinsman Telemiracle 50/50 raffle is live now. It's live now. You can purchase your tickets at telemiracle5050.com right now, and we've raised over $1 million the last 2 years. Actually, you've raised it, all the people that have bought tickets online. You have to be physically in the province of Saskatchewan. You have to be 19 years of age or over. Those are the only rules. We'll make the draw Friday, December the 16th. All proceeds going to the Kinsman Foundation, which helps people have better lives every day. Thank you for that. Moving on, point 2, the day has finally arrived. Canada will be playing its first World Cup game in 36 years, taking on second-ranked Belgium in group stage play today in Qatar. Let's go! Coach John Herdman told the media that star Alphonso Davies is fit now and ready to go after dealing with a hamstring strain. In other games today, Morocco takes on Croatia. I don't know if these are over yet. Germany plays Japan. Morocco, Croatia tied 0-0. Spain faces Costa Rica. For our U.S. audience, the United States and Wales played to a 1-1 draw in their opener. So, before we go any further, the poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center is this: are you into the World Cup? Overall, I got to say no, and that's why I laughed. And last I looked, I put it on Twitter about an hour ago, 65% of respondents saying no, they're not into the World Cup. Let's stop pretending that we're all soccer experts here. Now, having said that, here in South Florida, there's a Darren English Lions Head pub, not a couple blocks from me here. They got the flags up. They're opening early. They're packed. Everybody, as Serena said, everybody in the neighborhood knows it's the soccer place. And you do see some people with Saudi Arabian flags and Argentinian flags on their cars. So, yeah. But overall, if and when Canada gets bounced, when it happens, I will not be worried about the scores of the other countries. You?
Probably not. I mean, I haven't really been into it, but today I feel like I am. I'm excited for the game. I'm going to watch. I'll have it on. It'll be right after our show's over, so it's good timing. And I've been getting the notifications. So that Germany-Japan game, that's the one I was kind of following just on my phone this morning. Germany went up, big powerhouse, and Japan scored 2 goals late to win it. So there was some excitement. But, yeah, I'll watch, and I'll be into it for Canada's games, and I hope they do well.
Okay, the viewers are telling me that I have to go to the Cardinal Gibbons game on Friday night, and I think you're right. John Ohm in Winnipeg, Ohm writes in and asks if Orlando can support a CFL team. We'll get to this later, not now. Daniel Upsdale in Vancouver goes, we are so pumped here in Vancouver. Go Canada. Lions are done. Canucks suck. Yeah, so they want something to cheer for there in Vancouver. So, yeah, they're into it. That's the question. James Sharman coming up next segment to talk about the World Cup. So we'll see how far Canada can go. Jennifer from the Four Seasons writes in. She says, Spain is up 3-0 over Costa Rica. It's over. Picture Vince Carter. It's over. Okay, that particular game. A word from our sponsor, Edo Japan. Delicious Japanese-inspired meals and snacks made to order with high-quality ingredients. For those that aren't aware, the Quick Six Show Topics is where Darren and I talk about the show topics. It's later on that the viewers can pose questions and we'll discuss those. Thanks for playing. It's only been 890 episodes. They still don't get it. Point 3, the Montreal Canadiens have now lost 3 of their last 4 after falling 7-2 to the Buffalo Sabres last night. Jeff Skinner, who had 2 goals and 3 assists, was one of 5 Sabres to have a multi-point game as Buffalo snapped their own 8-game losing streak. Elsewhere, the Rangers beat the Kings 5-3. I'm such a hockey fan that on the NHL Network, they just pick a random game of the night and they'll air it. And I'll watch any game. I don't need to watch my favorite team all the time. So I couldn't believe it was 2-0 Sabres less than a minute into the game. It's 2-0 Buffalo. You saw me tweet, wiki, Montreal. You know, the talent difference between Team 1 and Team 32 in the NHL isn't that much. You just need to be on point. You need to be on your game. But you're wondering why I want to talk about Matthew Barnaby and the Sabres. I had it in our notes. Here's why. Sabres have told him they won't sell his book in their arena. What's the name of the rink there? Something Bank, whatever, in Buffalo. They won't sell it. And trust me, I get it. The Rough Riders aren't selling my book anymore in their stores. They pull it off the shelves. In the case of our good friend Matthew Barnaby, they're not even putting it on the shelves because the contents of the book is too hot. And did you see Barney's video by chance? Did you see his video where he's like, thanks, Sabres, you just gave me more PR than I could buy by telling the world that there's too much in this book that you don't want out there. How do you feel?
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I know.
I'm on the fence on that one. You?
Well, I was going through and I wasn't sure when you mentioned it. So I hit right away. I knew I got to go to Barney's Twitter account. And he mentioned a tweet and scrolling through. And I figured it was about the book. Yeah, I mean, it's tough because here's one of your alumni out in the public, you know, waving the flag, being a proud alumni, I think, of that organization. And yeah, things happen in the organization. You're not going to change the past. So celebrate it, you know, acknowledge it. But they're not going to do that. They're not going to sell his book. So Barnaby can be at war with the Buffalo Sabres, and maybe it'll be good for book sales. I hope.
If Barney does it right, he can make enough money off his book, he'll never need to work again. I'm saving my book. That will be my retirement nest. I know I've written 3. 2 have been bestsellers. I know how much money you can make off a book, and I think Barney's going to make enough money on his own. It's too bad. Oleg writes in from Winnipeg. He says he's quitting the show. Our piece too mean to the fans of the show. Peace and love.
That?
It's mean by saying these are the rules. Follow the rules or don't watch. Bye-bye, Oleg. That's all I'm saying. We give our opinions here. Later on, we ask for the viewers. All I'm asking is for you to follow the rules. If you don't like to If you don't like to go the speed limit, you don't like to wear your seatbelt, you don't like to follow the laws of society, see how far that gets you. Kevin in Airdrie says, Kevin the medium says Oleg made him snort coffee out his mouth. Well, I guess we should just shut down the damn show. Well, Oleg's quitting. Kevin's like, bye. You know we'll be back. Our NHL coverage is brought to you by Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Hiring now. Find out everything you need to know about Bronco at broncoplumbing.com and our Facebook and Instagram pages. Howdy, Camco. He's enjoying the show from Mexico right now, the owner and proprietor of Bronco Plumbing and Heating. Point 4, James Sharman, by the way, coming up, our soccer insider. Did you see what happened in Athens, Ohio last night? C.J. Harris stepped in for an injured star quarterback Curtis Rourke and ran for 3 touchdowns and threw for a 4th as Ohio beat Bowling Green 38-13. It was the Bobcats' 7th straight win, improved them to 9-3, and Ohio wins the MAC Conference, the Mid-American Conference East Division. They'll play for their first league title since 1968 when they face Toledo on December 3rd. Before the game, Ohio announced Curtis Rourke suffered a season-ending knee injury last week. He's done. We're all following this because of the players. At some point, the leagues need to realize we follow the games because of the players, right? Curtis Rourke's season done. That's not to say the Ohio Bobcats can't go on and have a great season and win the conference, but Curtis Rourke's done. What a bummer, Moose.
Oh, you feel so bad for the kid. And it's going to be such a tough offseason for him. But you're right. You know, Canada has shut off the TV now, and we're not watching the Ohio Bobcats anymore because Curtis Rourke's not there. But I saw Nathan Rourke tweeting about it this morning, and he knows it'll be a tough, difficult road back for Curtis, but he thinks he'll be able to do it and has all the confidence in the world. And it's good that they picked up where they left off. I mean, and we're able to get the win and continue to play for a championship. But yeah, special story, the Maple Missile. And now we're going to be watching the comeback trail, and hopefully he can pick up right where he left off because it was a good story.
No doubt. The Maple Missile sideline beside WestJet. By the way, we are running out of time. The final 2 topics of the quick 6 points, 5 and 6 are the NHL and the NFL Thanksgiving matchups. We'll push them to hour 2. Point 5, though, is all 7 Canadian NHL teams are on the road tonight. Toronto takes on red-hot New Jersey. Calgary faces Pittsburgh. The Winnipeg Jets visit Minnesota. Montreal matches up against Columbus. And the Edmonton Oilers go head-to-head with the New York Islanders in a rematch of the 1984 Stanley Cup Final. In the later games, Vancouver plays Colorado and Ottawa takes on Vegas. In Toronto, the Leafs will be without their top 3 defensemen after announcing that Morgan Rielly's been placed on long-term injured reserve with a knee injury. He suffered it in the 3rd period of the Leafs' overtime loss to the Islanders on Monday. They were already without Jake Muzzin and TJ Brody, so we will get into that in hour 2. And U.S. Thanksgiving NFL matchups, as they're saying, they're all great. Darren, we're going to play Bet Regal Deal or No Deal with you and the viewers in hour 2.
Hell
The
yes.
first game is Buffalo. Yeah, buddy. Buffalo's favored by 9.5 at Detroit. Think about it. The New York Giants are at the Dallas Cowboys, and the Cowboys are favored by 9.5. Think about it. And the New England Patriots are at the Minnesota Vikings, and the Vikes are favored by 2.5. Score. We'll talk about that all next hour, Moose. So you go put your feet up, governor, and
You got it.
we'll catch up with you in hour 2. Okay. James Sharman joins us next, my old Score alum. We're going to talk World Cup and more when we come back. It is the RP Show, No Game Plus today. We're on YouTube Live, of course, your favorite podcast platform, and on the key, WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your knee, leading to joint damage or even a permanent disability. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
Golf, Hawaii, and the Four Seasons. Imagine picking up your clubs and feeling like a pro for one whole week in paradise. Well, you can get that chance this December with 5-star accommodations, a 3-day tournament at a championship course, and loads of VIP experiences. The Pro Leisure Golf Tour is going to make you feel like a pro, even if your golf game doesn't. So whether you're looking to grab your golfing buddies for a tropical getaway or just wanting to find an exclusive VIP experience to take part in, the PLGT is perfect for you.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
All right, we're live on this Wednesday, episode 890 of the RP Show, coming at you. And number one, we want to say a happy birthday to Arlen Bruce III, the great of the Canadian Football League, is watching. It's his birthday, AB. We are adding your show, Loonies and Toonies, to our play mix here, so stick around for that. Our producers will be in touch with you. Thank you for offering and glad to have you part of the RP Show family, the Rod Squad. It's great to welcome in James Sharman from Parleh. You know him from Sportsnet, The Score, all the rest. James, we've talked before. Good to see you, brother. Is it Christmas for you this week? How are you feeling with the World Cup finally here?
Yeah, you know what? It's a funny one, right, Rod? It's not World Cup. There's obviously a black cloud hanging over this World Cup for pretty obvious reasons why it's there, when it's being played. But the last couple of days, the football's kind of spoken for itself. There's been some crazy results, which has really brought this World Cup to life. And now, for the first time since 1986, Canada's set for a World Cup bow. So, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good today. I'm feeling better about it all, but it is still a really odd World Cup.
Yeah, and we're following the coverage of it. You know far more about it than us, and that's why we have you on. But can I ask you, as one of the lead voices of soccer in Canada, simply what's your expectation for Canada in their first appearance since 1986?
Yeah, quite honestly, just getting here. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but just getting to Qatar. That was the job. They accomplished it. This is all gravy at this point. There's no pressure on these guys. They'll put pressure on themselves, obviously, but they've done the main job. For me, the expectation is just to play well. Hold your heads high. You might not get out of the group, but you might get out of the group. It's a really strange one. A lot of parity across the World Cup this year, and this group on paper it's tough, really hard, but Canada's got game breakers. So I don't think they'll get out of the group. That's my expectation. But I think they'll play well. They'll put some good performances in, and they'll leave this World Cup having learned some huge lessons leading up to 2026, when of course Canada's hosting some games.
As you wouldn't be surprised by here in South Florida, the pubs, the English pubs are open early. There's flags all over. They're packed. People are driving with their flags out their cars. That's in America. Please tell me what the USA's outlook is in your mind in this field, in their field, their group.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, their match that they drew, of course, in that first match. The first half was as well as I've seen them play for a very long time. They had a pretty up and down qualifying campaign, some poor results between then and now. Lots of pressure on Greg Berhalter, the manager, but this is a really young team, the second youngest team at the World Cup. And there's some kids coming through there who are legit. They're proper footballers. And again, in 4 years' time, they'll be a lot better. But yeah, I thought they looked really good in that first game. Listen, Wales is a hard team to beat, that they grind you out, and then they rely on some brilliance from Gareth Bale, and that happened once again. They now play against England coming up later this week, and England were great in the first match, so that's going to be a real challenge for them. But again, that race of second place in Group B is wide open, and the States, if you're a fan of the States, you should be feeling pretty good right now, because I saw some real progress in that match.
I'm just checking my score app here right now. I believe, it's Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern against England. Let's just talk about the score for a second, James. We did work on the same network, but my accent's a little different than yours. What led you to Canada and being on that flagship, wonderful television network, The Score?
Yeah, wasn't it? I still miss it to this day, actually. The vibe we had there. Young, we were cheap, but, we just tried stuff, right? We were given an opportunity to try things, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't work. But, I think we all learned so much. I came here way back when, 1990, Canada, with a family move. Went to school here, university, and then as I left, The Score, or then it was called Headline Sports, was just launching. I jumped in there, and they figured, hey, the kid's got an accent. He must know international sports, right? And I nodded. Yep, sure. And I began producing the sports, and then eventually I moved into the on-air role there, and I haven't looked back. So it's been a long time now, 24 years, 25 years since the Score first launched, and still some of the fondest moments of my career, that's for sure.
Well, for sure, and we will get back to the soccer, but I just want to say you've parlayed that into a wonderful, pardon the pun, you've parlayed that into a wonderful on-air presence. As I said, one of Canada's lead voices in the sport. Tell the viewers what you're doing now and how they can follow.
Yeah, right now I'm at a new company. It's called the Parleh, and within that, a new brand called Room 442, which is our soccer brand. And we just do content the way we think some sports content should be, much like you do, actually. It's very conversational. We have strong opinions. We like to debate and argue, but I think there's that air of authenticity there as well. It should be fun, right? It is sports. I mean, we love sports in our lives, but it's not life or death. I think we need to realize that. So that's kind of the angle we hit on Room 442. And I have my podcast outside of that too, 30 Prime, with some former Canadian internationals, Craig Forrest, Jimmy Brennan. And again, we just a bunch of dudes talking sports, right? And sometimes we go off in weird tangents. It's like a bunch of guys at a bar shooting what about sports. So we love it. That's the way it should be done. No suits, no desks, no formalities, just fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I just came from Grey Cup where the national media was like, "You're having so much fun." I'm like, "Yep, we are." That's the way it's supposed to be. So back to the World Cup. You mentioned some of the zany results, and I've been following. For those that aren't, what were the top 1, 2, or 3 zany results so far since this thing kicked off on the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, the last 24 hours has been just crazy. Yesterday, Saudi Arabia beat Argentina. Now, Argentina entered this tournament as, I believe, second favorites. They were actually my pick to win the whole thing. Playing great football. They were unbeaten in 36 games. Lionel Messi, who is arguably the greatest of all time, was playing great football again, feeling good about himself, smiling. It was all clicking into place. for Argentina. And then they play this Saudi team that many people had as the worst team at this World Cup, a team that would be just absolutely smashed. In the end, they just dominated Argentina. I mean, you talk about a game of two halves. First half, Argentina opened the score and looked pretty good at times. But then the second half, after this rousing halftime speech by the French manager of the Saudis, and it's actually on social media right now, it's pretty good. I don't know what he's saying, but it sounds really good. He's very vociferous. And he got them going. And you want to see like aggressive sports, aggressive soccer. That's what it was. You know, every time an Argentine got the ball, there were 3 green shirts on them. It was a joy to watch, really. And they scored 2 beautiful goals, and they won 2-1. One of, I would say, top 4 or 5 greatest upsets in World Cup history. I think it's fair to say. And then this morning, Germany's playing against Japan. Germany, they're Germany, right? They're always going to be a contender. Japan's been here before, but never a great team. And they came from down 1-0, and they came back and they won that match with 2 goals off the bench by their subs. You know what? It's a weird one, man. I keep saying it. It's a strange World Cup. We might just see a really odd champion this year. And the opening few days has shown that the parity across world football is closing. It's getting pretty good right now. That the top superpowers are still superpowers, but they're kind of stagnating somewhat, I think. Whereas these smaller nations are seeing their players play in the biggest leagues in the world and getting better and getting more and more experience. And now we're seeing that come to fruition on the international stage. So I'm not saying we're going to see Japan win the World Cup or Saudi Arabia win the World Cup, but man, there's no easy game. Unless, of course, right now Spain's smashing Costa Rica 4-0. But aside from that,
I saw that. Hey, lastly, how about the format? I would say what? Because of your group, you're allowed blowing 1 game. If you blew 2, are you done?
Yeah, pretty much. You can lose a game, and if you're winning next 2, you should be okay. You know, it's interesting. Like, for example, Canada's about to play Belgium at 2:00. Huge game already in their group. There was a 0-0 earlier today, which means those 2 teams drop points, which is just huge. That's Croatia and Morocco. So that really helps Canada, for example. But yeah, you don't need to win all your games. You don't need points in all your games. 4 points can get you through, often does. 5 for sure, and 6, you're looking really good.
Well, I'll tell you what, I appreciate the insight. Enjoy it. I know it's busy time for you, obviously, so thanks for fitting us in, man, and enjoy the games.
Thanks, Rob. Really enjoyed it.
James Sharman from the Parleh and Room 442, which you can watch right here on Game Plus Television, and indeed, proud Score alum. Didn't he say it well? Just starting something up then, which when it was called Headline Sports, it's similar to this show now and what he's doing now. We didn't really know what we're doing. Let's just do it for fun. And look how it's turned out. I'm going to get to a sports update here. We won't kick things around too much more because we got Mo Egger ready to go from Cincinnati next. But I will tell you, Western Hockey League last night in Winnipeg, there was just 1 game. Rookie netminder Harrison Menahan made an impressive 36 saves as the Lethbridge Hurricanes used an early lead to defeat the WHL leading Winnipeg Ice 2-1. Tristan Zandy and Tyson Zimmer scored for the Bridge. Ty Nash replied for Winnipeg, who saw their 15-game win streak snapped. Meanwhile, Prince George Cougars forward Riley Height has been named WHL Player of the Week for the week ending November 13th. An A-rated prospect for the 2023 NHL Draft. The Saskatoon product averaged 3 points per game over the past 7 days. And Lethbridge goalie Harrison Menahan, who we mentioned earlier, led the Canes to the upset win in Winnipeg last night, is the WHL Goalie of the Week. He turned aside a total of 52 shots over 2 starts this past week with a 1.00 goals against average. And the LA Angels have acquired outfielder Hunter Renfroe in a trade with the Milwaukee Brewers for 3 young pitchers. Milwaukee receives righties Jansen Junk and Elvis Peguero and minor league lefty Adam Seminaris. The 30-year-old Renfroe batted .255 with 29 home runs and 72 RBIs in 125 games this past season. The sports update for Edo, Japan. Clunk. Delicious Japanese-inspired meals and snacks made to order with high-quality ingredients. Moose is going to be with us for all of hour 2. Mo Egger coming up next from ESPN Cincinnati, and we'll look at the U.S. Thanksgiving spate of 3 NFL games and answer your questions, okay? We'll be right back. No Game Plus TV today, but we are streaming on YouTube Live, your favorite podcast platform as always. and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks and make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your back in a way that causes nerve damage or partial loss of mobility. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Having a great day talking sports here in South Florida. They're excited as the Bucks and the Dolphins are coming off bye weeks in Week 11. And before we look at the U.S. Thanksgiving, and by the way, everybody's excited about Thanksgiving. They're calling it Thanksgiving Eve today. NFL tripleheader on Thursday, and then this weekend it is the Bengals and the Titans, which we will get into with Mo. But hey, Mo, let's bring him in from ESPN Radio Cincinnati, our good and longtime friend. Looks like a beautiful day up there in Cincy. Am I right, Mo?
I'm not in Cincinnati. I'm in Maui. We have the Maui Invitational. The University of Cincinnati Bearcats are playing in the Maui Invitational, and so it's 7:36 in the morning here, Rod. I got up early.
How about that?
No wonder it looks beautiful over there. Nice to see. Well, hey, you could have been in Qatar. I wouldn't have been surprised. Our poll question today is, are you into the World Cup? How would you vote for that, Mo?
I'm into the U.S. men's national team. I don't know that I'm going to watch a ton of other matches involving other countries. Now, that would be different if the World Cup was during the summer. There's just so much going on in the U.S. between college and pro football, college basketball, the NBA. And honestly, I'm just into that stuff a little bit more than international soccer. It would be different in 2014, which was the last time the U.S. was in the World Cup. It was obviously staged during the month of June. There's not as much going on. The NBA season ended. I was all in on the World Cup, maybe a little bit less so this go around, but I watched the U.S. match against Wales. I'm going to watch when the U.S. plays. I don't know that I'm going to watch other countries, at least early. When we get closer to the final, I might be a little bit more into it, but there's just so much other stuff going on that a lot of it's going to run concurrent to other sports that I just like.
Yeah, I think everybody's saying they'll follow their own country, but when they're out, they will move elsewhere. So to that,
how's my glare? Can you even see me? Can
I can see you, and
now I like. Okay, very good.
More
want me to go back
importantly,
inside my hotel room.
No. More importantly, I can hear you. We're two radio guys sitting here, Mo. We're fine. Because you know all that matters is the audio. I'd rather have that. So 6-4 Bengals.
Really good 3 minutes ago. Now look at this. This is hilarious. Go ahead. The 6-4 Bengals.
You do whatever you want to do. Just keep talking, man, and be great. Be you. Are they going back to the Super Bowl? As we sit here right now, they do hold a playoff spot. What do you think? How are you feeling?
I don't know that they're going back to the Super Bowl because I think without their best cover corner, Chidobe Awuzie, that's going to be really, really hard. I do think they're going to be a playoff team, but look, they're stretched here down the final 7 weeks. They're going to play 5 of the top 6 current seeds right now in the AFC, including the Tennessee Titans on Sunday, a rematch of a game the Bengals played in the playoffs last year. I think that game against Pittsburgh put them on the right trajectory. I don't know if I trust them to go on the road again and win multiple playoff games, which is probably what they're going to have to do. I do think it's going to be interesting to see what happens down the stretch with the Baltimore Ravens, just because, and I think you saw it against Carolina on Sunday, they have a total lack of weapons for Lamar Jackson to throw to. So I don't know if I really believe in the Baltimore Ravens. They have an easier schedule down the stretch than the Bengals do. Cincinnati is a game behind. But you know what? Give me Joe Burrow in the month of January with a chance, and I'll feel pretty comfortable about that if I'm a Bengals fan. And I am.
Well, we're more than, we're well past the halfway point of the NFL season, Mo. So what kind of generalities are we able to make about teams? For instance, Lamar Jackson, people were talking about him as the MVP early on. I'm not sure they are as much now. Who's the MVP of this season to date in your mind individually?
Look at this. You can see me now. I'm back in the hotel room, Rod. Look at this. Look at that.
Gotcha.
I'm doing multiple things at once. There we go. There we go. What a professional operation I'm operating here.
How about this?
I think Patrick Mahomes. There you go. I think Patrick Mahomes is the league's MVP. I think he should be considered the league's MVP right now. But we still have a huge chunk of the season remaining. I think if Lamar and the Ravens win the AFC North, given the lack of help he has offensively, I think you're going to have a hard time not considering him. But right now, I think Patrick Mahomes, I think Josh Allen, I think those two guys would have to lead the conversation. But there's a lot of regular season games in front of us. And the reality is it's a quarterback's award, right? And so we have this conversation every single year, and it feels like we don't talk about players who play other positions. The NFL MVP award ought to just be renamed, something like Best Quarterback or Quarterback of the Year award, something like that. But if I had a vote right now, it would be Patrick Mahomes.
It's funny with Aaron Rodgers, who's won it the last 2 years, right? Are you stunned? No, you probably aren't, because you're born and raised in this game. How much people are enjoying watching him stumble? Like, I'm not a Rodgers fan, but it bothers me how much glee people take in something like that.
Yeah, I think Aaron brings on some of that himself, quite honestly. But people have sort of enjoyed, and maybe to a lesser degree, Tom Brady earlier in the season as well. People have seemed to really enjoyed Aaron Rodgers struggling the way he has. I don't want to say I feel sorry for him, but can you just imagine what his career would look like from a team accomplishment standpoint had they built better teams around him and had they given him better guys to throw to? But his personality is odd. at least the forward-facing, public-facing personality that we see is odd. And so I think he brings some of that on himself. The drop-off has been stark because he was unbelievable last year. The relationship between him and Green Bay Packers fans has always seemed weird because they seem to revere Brett Favre. Brett's obviously been in the news for non-football reasons. But yeah, it's been striking. It's been one of the storylines this season, how people have come to really enjoy the shortcomings and failures of Aaron Rodgers. By the way, the housekeeper hasn't been in yet, so sorry.
Don't worry about it. As a matter of fact, let's have some fun with comments from our viewers. John Ohm from Winnipeg says Mo Egger's in Winnipeg, whiteout mode. That's where at Winnipeg Jets games they wear all white. It's an historic thing going back like 40 years. So
I was
that's
devastated. My guy Zach Collaros fell short in the Grey Cup. I was so excited he was going to win another one, and obviously that didn't happen.
He was the MVP of the league, however. I was wondering if I should ask you about that, the pride of Steubenville, Ohio. Did you watch the game?
I followed it on my phone. I love Zach. Have had him on my show a whole bunch of times. He's obviously a University of Cincinnati product, a guy who had a stellar career at UC. We've taken a great amount of pride in what he's been able to accomplish in the CFL. He's had a terrific career, multiple most outstanding player. Is that what they call it? Most outstanding player awards. And I didn't get a chance to watch the Grey Cup, but I did follow along, and we were rooting for him. And hopefully we can get Zach back on our show to talk about his season, because he's somebody that if you care about the University of Cincinnati, you're awfully proud of what Zach has been able to accomplish.
They were a missed field goal away from winning it, or a blocked field goal away from winning it. And listen, Jeff, the Stampeders fan in Calgary, wants to know if they still do the Thanksgiving turkey drop in Cincinnati. I can't have you on from Cincinnati. Thanksgiving week. How often does the most famed WKRP skit come up in your life?
Well, when you work in radio in Cincinnati and you tell people from other parts of the country or other parts of the world that you work in radio in Cincinnati, invariably you get WKRP references, which I'm always okay with because I love debating Bailey Quarters versus Jennifer Marlowe, right? I'm a Jennifer Marlowe guy, but a lot of people are. I don't think it is, but it's a fun debate to have. And then obviously, once we have that discussion, the conversation at some point is going to turn to turkey drops, and obviously this time of year we get a lot of that. Are you a Jennifer guy or a Bailey guy?
Again, not a debate. I am a Lonnie Anderson guy. Yes, Jennifer Marlowe. There ain't no doubt about that.
Likewise.
I think she was my first crush. Her or Daisy Duke, one of the two. How about that? Yes, you get it. Look, real quickly. Well, and Ryan in Toronto watching says, Mo's joining you from heaven. Tell me about the Maui Invitational. Tell me what takes you there to the Big Island. Is that what they call it?
It's not the Big Island. It's the island of Maui. It's fantastic. This is, if you're a college basketball fan, I think this is the premier in-season tournament. There's 5 ranked teams in it. Creighton and Arkansas staged a game last night that was absolutely unbelievable. The University of Cincinnati is not among the ranked teams. The normal voice of the Bearcats is a guy by the name of Dan Horde. Now check this out. He is the voice of the Cincinnati Bengals, the voice of the UC Bearcat football team, and he's the voice of the UC Bearcat basketball team. With all of those duties and then sort of the ancillary responsibilities that are attached to those duties, sometimes he has to miss a basketball game. I've been the fill-in guy for 9 or 10 years. This go around, Dan couldn't get to Maui, so I'm here calling the Bearcats. Unfortunately, they've lost their first 2 games. They play Louisville later on this afternoon, so those are 2 programs that used to play annually, long-standing regional rivals. Be the first time they've played in almost 9 years, so excited about that. But the event is terrific, and anybody who's familiar with Maui and the islands here, it is heaven. It's absolutely awesome. It's 83 degrees, I think, is the expected high this afternoon. The ocean is beautiful. The sights are fantastic, and the people are lovely. So it's really cool to be here. Even if my planned, sit on my balcony and have you look at the backdrop of this mountain here didn't work out.
It was good for 30 seconds. So we get the intention. Triple header of U.S. Thanksgiving NFL matchups. I just want the winner. Are you a betting guy or no, Mo? Are you a betting guy?
I am, yeah. It's
okay.
been a big part of what we do, yeah.
Okay, Buffalo at Detroit. Bills favored by 9.5 in the first game. Do the Bills cover? What do you think?
Yeah, I think the Bills are going to cover. I don't trust that Detroit defense. Buffalo obviously had the big stumble against Minnesota. I for the most part, liked how they bounced back against Cleveland. They've obviously been in Detroit now here for a while, so I like the Bills.
Giants at Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys favored by 9.5. Do they cover?
I think that number's a little bit big. I think that number's a little bit hefty. The New York Giants are maybe the team that I think is at the top of the list of squads that even at this stage in the season, I still can't entirely figure out. Think about that. We have two teams that have the same record. The Giants have been terrific on the road this year, and the Cowboys are laying almost 10 points. I think this number is too big.
I'm with you. And New England at Minnesota in the nightcap. The Vikings favored by 2.5 at Bet Regal. The Vikings
going to try to ignore everything I saw from Minnesota on Sunday because I don't think anybody expected them to get housed the way they were by Dallas. I'm still not a believer in the Patriots. And look, I think Bill Belichick is obviously, the greatest coach who's ever lived. They've been good on the road this year. I think they're 3-2 straight up away from Foxborough. They've hung in the postseason race despite the weirdness of their offensive situation. I still don't think they have enough weaponry to go on the road and beat a good Minnesota team that I think has a big bounce back performance. I will go ahead and lay the number with the Vikings.
Thank you for the wonderful insights. And the very last thing I'll ask you is, I understand my gal Jess did get a hold of you in Cincy. Is that a fact?
She did. She reached out. She texted me. We have yet to connect. I have yet to go check out her spot downtown, but I have a lot of off time during the holidays, and so I'm going to go see it, and I'll get back to you with a full report.
All right, good to hear. I heard from this end that the connection had been made. So, yeah, I know she wants to get your family down there and check that place out. So, Mo, enjoy it all. And as always, thanks for the time, brother. Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, you too, Rod. Thanks.
All right, ESPN Cincinnati's Mo Egger joining us from Hawaii. How about that? I did not expect that. So it looks like it's going to be just you and me the rest of the way as we bring in the Moose. So, John Ohms, so I appreciate you hanging in there. We'll get to your questions and everybody else the rest of the way. You can reach us at 902-518-33, of course, 3033. We'll be right back with Viewer Takeover. No Game Plus today, but we're on YouTube Live and your favorite podcast platform and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks and make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall. Or you might hit your head and cause a lifelong injury. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Okay, we already went through the sports update, and so we'll get to the viewer comments here right now. I'm going to tell you, this is one of those days where I just couldn't wait to get onto the air. Not just at showtime, but even through the commercial break. It's like, can we hurry up? And I might get to this story here about Cardinal Gibbons' Chiefs and the speech yesterday and some of the things that it's brought back to me in my life. But I'm just going to read some of these comments. I'll carry them over into hour two. I don't have time to address them all. Metal Shingle Guy is watching in Regina, and he says, last night on In the Huddle, that's the television magazine show on the Rough Riders that I hosted for 25 years. He says the host was interviewing Chad Kelly. That's the Argos quarterback who led them to the Grey Cup win Sunday. After he just won the Cup, what does he ask? If he would like to be the starter in Saskatchewan. What an idiot. He just won and wants him to jump ship. Wow. See, that doesn't surprise me. None of that surprises me. Why are you surprised? From Brian. He is watching in Hudson's Bay, Sask, where they have Hudson Bay Rule, home of Trent Yanni, Glenn Gulletson, and Craig Adam. He said, is this Curtis Rourke's draft year? If so, is he a sure NFL thing, or is he worth drafting in the CFL? We've established this is not his draft year, right? We know that. We can bring that up next year, too. Whenever he's eligible, you got to draft him. He's like his brother, but taller and supposedly better. You got to draft him. From Sean. He is in Vancouver, British Columbia. Morning, Roddy. Had a great time at Landmark Cinemas last night. Amazing reclining seats. No wonder you guys go to so many movies. Last minute of play of hour one. Where the movie? Yeah, Landmark Cinemas. You got to go. Those reclining. If you fall asleep, that's not our fault. Landmark Cinemas is like your living room, but not. From Stephen in North Dakota, he says, greetings and hallucinations from balmy Belford, North Dakota. I enjoy listening to this magnetic show of real sports while driving. Commercials often lead to curves. Fast forwarding the tape is challenging. Please be kind and rewind. And from Rose in Edmonton, she says, oh, Bomber fans are godless. Not getting into a holy war here. We'll address all of these and some of the stories I didn't get to when we come back for hour 2 right after this. Stick around, everybody. We will be right back.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
I gotta hit the beat.
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might fracture your wrist, resulting in a lifetime of painful arthritis. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
My dad was walking through the Medicine Hat Mall. He was with Doug Sauter. It was Remembrance Day weekend. That neither one of them had a poppy on. So they walked by the mannequin in the bay. Guess what? The mannequin has a poppy on his lapel. Come back together like an hour later. Sauter's wearing the poppy. My dad says, I was thinking about taking that poppy off the mannequin. Sauter goes, some people are thinkers, some people are doers.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. It's hour 2 coming at you. You know what we do in hour 1 is we talk about last night. Hour 2, we usually talk about tonight and what's going on in the world of sports. We had a lot of great comments here. Your dad's watching, Clark. Producer Clark, your dad's watching. He says, hey, Rod, I'm fine with you and Darren representing. Doesn't get much better than that. Happy Thanksgiving to my American family down there. Because I think Clark has a brother living in Arizona. Right, Clark?
Bingo!
So, yeah, buddy. Everybody's excited about U.S. Thanksgiving, believe me. Serena said today, I love how you call it U.S. Thanksgiving. I have to, because nobody in Canada would understand. Let's bring in the Moose now, Darren Moose DuPont. Woosah. Looks like you're having a good day. Were you enjoying the show there for the last 40 minutes? Seemed like you were on a snow day.
Absolutely, yeah. Kicking my feet up. It is good. We can slow down now an hour or two. And, you know, between the show and consuming some social media and editing some more of the clips you've been sending, it's a great morning.
Your hair looks darker than normal. Did you color it? What's up?
Does it? Okay, I thought that. I haven't put a shred of coloring in here. It could be just the hair product I'm using. Could be the lighting. Not colored. Promise.
Okay. Monty's watching in Saskatoon, the Bridge City. And he says, love your show, Rod. Are you going to be watching football Saturday afternoon? Go Huskies. Yeah, probably. Last year I watched the Vanier Cup from the press box, if you remember, at FLA Live Arena. Ironically enough, the Panthers were playing the St. Louis Blues that day. And this Friday night they're playing the Blues again. So let me just walk things back here a little bit. And there's a lot of great CFL, Canadian Football League, questions and commentary that have come in from our viewers. And thank you, John Ohm, for being so patient to hang in there with this question about the CFL expanding to Orlando. But I want to say something for those that did miss an hour ago. I had the invitation to go speak to the Cardinal Gibbons Chiefs high school football team, 16th ranked team in the USA, all of high school football. Did anybody do what I told you to do? Go look up the high school football rankings. Brought to you by NFL Play Football. The number one team in America is Mater Dei, California. Number 2, Buford High School from Georgia. Of the top 10 schools in America, 2 are from Florida, 2 are from Texas, 2 are from California. Do you see a thread there? California, Texas, Florida.
Yeah.
American Heritage is the 11th ranked team in all of the USA. In Plantation, Florida, 16th ranked Cardinal Gibbons. There's a lot of high schools, Darren, in the United States, just so you know. And the 11th and 16th ranked teams are going head-to-head Friday night. So people are saying, Rod, you got to go to the kids' game. They've asked you to go. That's the semifinal for their city, basically, for their region. Panthers really don't give a spit whether I'm at their game or not. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go to Plantation. So there's that. But here's the thing. The CFL, I saw this yesterday. Some of the Twitter accounts that cover it, like CFL News, were quoting league sources. The media chimed in that the U.S. is a vast, untapped market for the CFL. I'm like, how long are you going to sit around and talk about that? That's why it's a very apropos intro, the Doug Sauter, Jim Pedersen story, where Sauter said to my dad, some guys are thinkers and some guys are doers. Some guys are talkers and some guys are doers. So my point is, I'm in that locker room addressing the Cardinal Gibbons Chiefs yesterday. It reminds me of 3, 4, 5 years ago. I was driving around the province of Saskatchewan, speaking in schools, community groups, about the importance of mental health, addiction recovery, that prevention's the best weapon against addiction. If you don't start, you don't have to worry about ever having to quit. And there was some fat cat, white-collar government bureaucrats there in the crowd. I'm not going to say what town, but they came up to me after and they said, what you're doing for the people of this province is amazing. And the kids? And I said, well, I'm raising all my own money. I'm driving around in my own car. Got my business manager, Joe, helping me out with the scheduling. And they said, no. The government needs to pay for this. We need to get you a driver. We need to get you a hotel deal. No. This is too important to the people. I said, that's great. And while you're sitting around talking about it in your meetings, I'm going to be out on the front lines doing it. I can't sit around and wait for you guys. You're sitting your ass and talk about it forever and do nothing. Which, incidentally, I never heard from him again. So I continued to go around and raise the money on my own with Joe's help and local sponsorship and the government. It just reminds me of the CFL. Yeah, wow, the USA. Man, a lot of money down there. A lot of football fans. Man, maybe we should have a meeting and talk about talking about venturing into the USA. Do you think they ever will? And meanwhile, we're doing it.
I don't know. I don't know if they ever will. You know, I understand it is a big market, but in terms of an untapped market, I don't know, because it's so saturated with college football and the NFL. And I know there's 300 million people, but there's a lot of football. And if that doesn't, have access, if you don't have access to that, you have access to all this wonderful high school football and NCAA Division II football, and let alone basketball and hockey and baseball and everything else that's going on that is fighting for attention. That's why I've been a fan of CFL 2.0 in the concept of it, not in the execution of it. And I talked to several, people inside the CFL over the last week, and players and coaches and, scouts and agents and you name it, and kind of talked about how CFL 2.0 can work. You have to get out into those other communities. Take your Hall of Famers who would love to go over there and start delivering camps in all these other countries. Give them the television rights for free. You have to give something to get something. That's how you do it. You can't sit around, talk about it, and only think about how is this going to make us money, right? You have to think about how is this going to impact them? What's going to be good for them? Not always what's good for me. If you can provide value to somebody else, that's going to come back to you in the long run.
Would never even dawn on them to even think about what might be in it for the others. I'm sorry. Can you do me a favor and zip up your collar all the way? Because we're running into that same problem we had. You either rip off your jacket or zip it up one of the two. But your mic is rubbing against your zipper. There's a joke in there somewhere. But no, you can't do that. Zip it up all the way. Trust me, I've tried.
Okay, we'll try that.
Rod's rant, spurred on by Rod Monroe, Clark's dad, brought to you by Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. They're hiring now. Find out everything you need to know about Bronco at broncoplumbing.com and our Facebook and Instagram pages. So, again, I know John Ohm, one of our biggest supporters, and thank you for the gear that he brought to the party Friday night, Winnipeg whiteout stuff. If it drops below 27 degrees Celsius here, I might put it on. It was a thick hoodie. Thank you, John. But he wrote in yesterday and said, talk's cheap, right, Rod? I'm tired. There's a very, very, very influential football guy who refers to, anytime Randy Ambrosie speaks, he refers to it as phony Ambrosie baloney. I'm past it. I'm not spending any more time on it. And John, one more thing. Because what did I say to you about a couple of TV executives that I were dealing with? Yeah, we're going to do this, Rod, and we're going to do that, Rod. It was years of it. So do you remember? I lost my freaking mind, and I threw my pen against the wall, and I said, why don't you, me, and him jump in a boat and sail around the world together over the period of a couple of years, stop it in all these countries, because there's a bigger chance of that happening as what you're talking about right now. Get real. Okay, this is like the John Ohm channel. He's got all the great comments today, but I got to move on. Rod's rant, fix the mic, Moose. But he has. From Slurp on YouTube says there are more football stadiums in Dallas, Fort Worth area than all of Canada. I believe that. Kevin, the medium, says hair number 633 is out of place, Moose. Can you fix it? and Kevin says also, by the way, love the show all the time. Love it more when it is Moose and Rod. That's what I said. It's great to sprinkle in the interviews, but I think people like the good old sports talk. 902-518-3033. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm happy that the MLB season ended, that the World Series is behind us. Not totally disappointed the CFL season is over, because it was getting a lot to cover. It was a lot. Right?
Yeah.
And now with this World Cup thing, I'll go back to this again. Everybody's a soccer expert in Canada now. I'm seeing it on social media. And I told you I wanted to talk about this. We didn't get to it last hour. We will here. Canada, I feel, is far more of an event country than the United States. The sense that I get here, they're not as into it, the World Cup, as Canada. You wouldn't know because you've only been in the one country, but I feel like Canadians are really into this World Cup. Now, that's because of their own country in it. I think if and when Canada bows out, I don't think the interest will necessarily be there. But have I completely misread that?
I can't speak for the U.S. being events town or not being an events town, but with Canada, I can for sure. And I'm with you on that. Like, it's always been the U.S. seems to have really great American pride all year round. You see the flags in all the small towns, things like that. But when it comes to our sports, I feel like Canada really gets behind their teams. So anytime you have Canada playing or competing on the world stage, I feel like we really get behind it and get into it and we support it like crazy. But once Canada's out, yeah, I think the interest in the World Cup will dip. I mean, obviously, you'll see fans of Portugal and Germany and Spain and, you know, people of their ancestry will still support and follow those countries for sure. But at scale, it will stop when Canada's out. But we'll be really excited until that happens.
And you can't blame people for that. We were talking about this wonderful soccer tournament, and you viewers from across all of North America, tell me if you have this in your cities, but in Regina, they have that World-Class Players' Cup where kids that were born in Canada, but of descent of, you name it, Mexico, Denmark, France, Germany, they all play under that country's banner in a huge soccer tournament. They had one here, a hockey tournament like that, remember? The LATAM Cup, Latin America Cup, a couple months ago. I was there. And, of course, you know me. I'm going to wade right in and talk to the kids. So there's this one kid. He was a beanpole, built like a toothbrush, as they say. He was the goalie for Venezuela. Long hair, had a bit of a... He looked a little like Roberto. He looked like a 12-year-old Roberto Luongo. And I said to him, whereabouts you from in Venezuela? And he goes, I'm from Cleveland, bro. I will never forget that. It was all American kids of Venezuelan, Fijian, descent. It was the same idea as that soccer tournament in Regina, but it was a hockey tournament down here. What did I know? It was still great. And seeing all those kids together was wonderful. And I would say just one more thing on if the CFL does want to expand the global footprint, get a freaking food truck, or what do you call it, a traveling truck, get a tent, go to Super Bowl, go to every freaking state fair, and stand there and put some work into it. God, it just burns my grits. And then there's again these poor people sitting there thinking that they're up to it, that it's actually going to happen. Ryan in Toronto says, I'm not a soccer fan overall, but having Canada in the World Cup definitely makes me more interested. Wayne says, Rod's point about governments talking a good game but never doing anything, that applies to the CFL as well. Listen, and that's the thing. I don't want to necessarily trash anybody, but it's like, you're not going to get anything done. Like, I had a lot of people write me through social media and friends texting me saying, were those kids listening when you spoke to them yesterday? I said, they were dialed right in. And if you've ever seen me give a speech, go around the room and I look everybody in the eye. Everybody. And they were dialed in, but they're the 16th ranked team in all of America in high school football. They're overachievers. So, and I got to tell you, man, it's so exciting to just learn something new and I think for a lot of we're probably going to have to take a break and come back and we will get to more viewer questions, but it's like my buddy Brian, the cop here from Fort Lauderdale. He's like, in Canada, you're so lucky. You can go to, I said, why am I lucky in Canada? He goes, you can go to a high-level hockey game every night. And I'm like, so? But then I sat and looked, I'm like, but do I? And I don't. That's why in Alberta, I was going to the Junior A, WHL, NHL, AHL, university game we went to. Because I'm like, wow, wait a minute. And maybe down here in America, the people that have kind of started to take their sports for granted, maybe by some influence of what this show can do, can spark some interest in that too. For them, I don't know. But what I'm telling you is high school football is a big-ass deal. Big. Julia Roberts, Pretty Women. Big. Okay. We're going to break. And when we come back, all viewer takeover. and whatever you'd like to talk about, Moose. And we'll look at tonight's games because there's a lot. NHL, NBA, World Cup, WHL, whatever you want. We'll be right back. It's the RP Show, not on Game Plus today, but we are on your favorite podcast platform. YouTube Live and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your back in a way that causes nerve damage or partial loss of mobility. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Golf, Hawaii, and the Four Seasons. Imagine picking up your clubs and feeling like a pro for one whole week in paradise. Well, you can get that chance this December with 5-star accommodations, a 3-day tournament at a championship course, and loads of VIP experiences. The Pro Leisure Golf Tour is going to make you feel like a pro, even if your golf game doesn't. So whether you're looking to grab your golfing buddies for a tropical getaway, or just wanting to find an exclusive VIP experience to take part in, the PLGT is perfect for you.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Okay, here we go. From the set of Bloodline. By the way, one of my, let's see if we can bring the Moose back in here, the lovely and talented Darren Moose DuPont, sporting his Seattle Kraken. You should get a logo and slap it on there. Of the
I
Kraken,
should,
man.
over here. Yeah.
They're doing great. By the way, one of my Florida football guys is watching the show right now, and he says, why are you the only person who understands CFL expansion? Do nothing, get nothing. I wrote him back. I said, I don't know, but I'm past the point of not caring anymore. It ain't my job. Sorry to say, I know you hate that phrase. It's not my job, but it's not. But I'm not gonna pull anybody's leg here. I said that we will talk about whatever the viewers want to talk about here. Troy, this is interesting. Troy in Toronto. We got a lot of Toronto viewers today. Troy in Toronto says, as a Toronto guy, here we usually see every flag except Canada, but now Canada's in the World Cup. It's cool to see people of all countries cheering for our beloved Canada squad. Let's go, boys. Now, isn't that something? Well, Serena's lived here for 15 years in the United States, so we had this debate this morning, and I said, why does it seem like Canada's into this more than the U.S.? And again, she's lived here long enough, and she goes, Canada seems to celebrate its multiculturalism more than the United States. So you talk about the national pride down here. Yeah. You're 100% right here. You see that American flag everywhere. In Canada, Troy just said it. It's every flag but Canada. Free country. Both are free countries. Do whatever you want. From Slurp, he says, high school football in the United States outdraws the Argos. That's a fact. Bro, high school football outdraws most every CFL team in the States, and we've been there. So don't point your nose down at the Toronto Argonauts, which incidentally, if that's where the balance of our viewers are, and they are CFL fans, we can talk about it. There was that interesting comment from somebody the other day. I know it was the comment that came into our website that said the one team that wants out of the CFL, the Argos, win it all. How's that for ironic?
Go figure.
Isn't it? And to be honest, you got Bob Irving sitting there, the Hall of Fame legendary voice of the Blue Bombers, retired now, banging on the Argos for not updating their website by late Monday afternoon that they'd won the whole thing. And I'm just like, I think maybe it's just a Rod thing, but it's like, if I had said that, can you imagine the furor from the national media and a lot of fans that hate me? Oh, Rod's just being a negative jerk, but Bob can say it. So that's kind of why I came here. I'm just tired of being the whipping boy for just saying the honest thing like Bob says. And speaking of being honest, I got to credit Dave Naylor from TSN, who, if you saw his tweet, he posted something about how X amount of percentage of soccer games go to a 0-0 draw. And he goes, that's why I'm not a soccer fan. So I feel like it should be okay for people to just point out they're not necessarily soccer people during the World Cup. So forgive us for not, knees knocking like a schoolgirl, love-struck teenager over the World Cup coming. Because you're not going to watch it the rest of the other 4 years till the next one. I said mine's a 2 out of 10. What'd you say? Yours is a 5 out of 10, right? For
it was a 5.
Yesterday?
Yeah. I'm probably closer to a 7 today. I'm sitting here getting it queued up. I'm going to watch it as soon as we're off the air and do my work from here on the couch. And I'll probably get a little bit more towards an 8 or a 9 by the time they start that game. I'll be into it for sure. Canada's playing.
Well,
I've seen the games live when the women had the World Cup here, and we were in Edmonton watching. So that was very exciting. It'll be awesome.
One last one. John says football is a huge American apple pie. I think the CFL needs to take a bite out of that pie. Expansion should seriously be considered for the CFL in the near future. They don't want the help, John, and they certainly don't want ours. Can you believe there are 15 games in the National Hockey League tonight? 15. That's almost every team in the NHL is playing tonight. And I'm not going to run through all of the games other than I would suggest the marquee game. It's going to depend on your rooting interest, but it's your Toronto Argonauts Toronto Maple Leafs at the New Jersey Devils tonight. And with all these injuries to the Leafs' top 3 defensemen, how you feeling about this matchup against the hottest team in the NHL, Moose?
Yeah, pretty nervous, but it's a measuring stick. It's a measuring stick for this Leafs team to see if they can overcome some adversity against the hottest team in hockey, one of the best teams in the NHL, if not the best team right now. I know Boston still continues to do their thing, but this is the hottest team in the league, and Toronto's playing some of its better hockey as of late. I know they're coming off an overtime loss, so it's another measuring stick. The Isles better. Devils, really good. These are games where you get to see what your teams are made of.
I'm paying attention to you, but I'm just looking at the comments that are coming in here, and one from my cousin Christine in Medicine Hat says she's so happy for pinball and the Argos, as am I. And I told you this story, but I want to relate it to the viewers. I can only call this a God shot more than anything. I'm standing in the front entrance of the Cardinal Gibbons Chiefs locker room yesterday, and this guy comes out to me, one of the coaches of the Chiefs, and he's like, "You're in the CFL? You must know my good friend Pinball." I'm like, "I was just with him last week. We embraced." He's like, "Oh yeah, he's from Clearwater, and my family's from just going back and forth." He goes, "I was just texting him," and I said, "Listen, take a selfie and send it to him. See what he says." So the guy takes a selfie, and then I went and gave my speech, and then got out of there right after. His name's Jonathan Graham, special teams coordinator of the. So here's his Twitter, Jonathan Graham. You can look him up, Broward County, here in South. How about that, Darren? How do you explain that? I don't think you do.
No, it's just that's the universe doing its own thing, you know? And sometimes you can't explain it, and you shouldn't even try and understand it because it's doing what it needs to do. And that's just funny.
Just enjoy the ride.
Yeah. And it's that good guy network, that good person network, right? You want to be on that train.
Ryan McCarthy, watching in Saratoga, New York, says, "History tonight, Rod Squad. Let's go, Devils. If the Devils win tonight, it will be a franchise record for wins, 14 consecutive. And Oilers are at the Islanders tonight. Maybe we'll find out if anything's wrong with the Oilers. They're going against I think it's 8-4 Islanders team. You know, you should listen to people with a little wisdom. Guys like Peter Marr. I mean, I try to pick up something every day. I really do. And Peter that day, he goes, "It's not the first 15 games of the season that you need to be interested in. It's the next 15 games 15 to 30. That's when you see what your team is made of." Well, what does that say for the New Jersey Devils on the high end? What does that say for the Ottawa Senators on the low end? Right? That first 10 to 15 games is the Haley's Comet. You know, Peter, I think, has it right. And so another one, I will pass this along, what they were talking about on the NHL Network. I just feel so sorry for you peasants in Canada that you don't have the NHL Network. It's a crime. I guess Sportsnet's blocking it, so blame Rogers. But remember NHL on the fly? We all used to watch it. They still do it. And last night, they have a featured game, and it was Buffalo-Montreal. I was talking about this last hour. So they just pick a game, and they show it. And then in between periods, they go zing, 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 all around the NHL and show highlights. It's really awesome. But Bill Lindsay, guy who's become a good friend, color voice of the Panthers, was asked, who's the team in a playoff spot right now that he thinks will drop out and miss? He said, Detroit. I disagree. Who is the team that's out right now that he thinks will get in? He said the Florida Panthers. And I'll stop right there because this isn't the Bill Lindsay show. It's the Rod Pedersen show. But they brought up that exact same thing that NHL Radio Scott Laughlin brought up here on Monday, and that was if you were in a playoff spot at U.S. Thanksgiving, you'll make the playoffs this percentage of times. Scott said 90 to 95%, if you recall. We made a big deal of it yesterday. The host on NHL Network, I can't remember her name, said to me, to me through the television, I felt like she was speaking to me. It's 75%. Either way, that's a pretty good number, Moose.
I would say. I would be pretty confident. And, you know, if I'm the New Jersey Devils, and Scott Laughlin said it yesterday, you know, you really only have to go 500 the rest of the way, and the New Jersey Devils are going to make the playoffs. And so I can sit here at U.S. Thanksgiving. I'm going to have an extra slice of pumpkin pie or pecan pie or whatever your flavor is. I'm going to have an extra helping of mashed potatoes because I'm feeling pretty good. I can celebrate a little bit. Now, those teams that are on the cusp, I may be not quite as confident as a team in first place, but still feeling pretty good that the season's gone this way. Now, I still think teams like Pittsburgh and Florida will probably find a way into the playoffs. So I'd be more nervous if I was Detroit. I'd be more nervous in the West if I was a team like the LA Kings, who've been getting outscored mostly in games, but still are in a playoff spot. But I'd still be feeling pretty good right now if I was any team in a playoff spot.
So to the viewers, again, I said all of hour 2 is going to be basically viewer takeover, and that's awesome. And it is. Regarding how do you explain being with Pinball last week in Regina and being with this friend of his in South Florida the next week, and we don't know, Kevin the Medium writes in and says, I can explain it all. Well, why don't you, Kevin, in a couple of sentences, explain it to us? Because I still can't get my mind around this. People have to understand. It's been less than a year since I really started on this journey of even understanding this stuff. And a good friend of mine, I tell you about them all the time, Alan, he's what he calls himself, a sober consultant. He's just become a good friend. I said, when did you stop getting freaked out by this stuff? He's like, 20 years ago. I still just get spooked. I do. I get spooked by this coincidence. I know now that it's not coincidences, but it's still, it's hard to explain. I'm getting tingles just thinking about it right now. I bet you Kevin is too. John says, any chance of getting Paul Maurice on the show? Yeah, probably. Which, incidentally, I don't think I'm going to go. So I told you the Bruins are here tonight. And ideally, I would normally go to the game. But somebody has other plans in the house. So we're going to do other things. But when I come back tonight, I told you what we got going on. I'm going on the podcast. I'm going on the Markcast. He's operating on Seattle time. Reed out there in Seattle. And now everything's tying back together. So 4 p.m. Seattle, as you look at it, 7 p.m. here in Florida. Yeah, I'll be here doing the Markcast every. The Kraken, last I looked, were in a playoff spot. And they must still be because there were only 2 playoff games last night. The Kraken are the team. They can't make it, can they, in year 2? Can they?
Well, I mean, why not? Why not? I mean, we saw what Vegas did in a shorter period of time. We look at teams that are on the outside that probably will find a way in. And one of those teams in the West for me is Minnesota. I think Minnesota's a better hockey team. I think they'll find their way in as we move forward, which means, again, teams like Seattle or LA, one of them's going to have to come out, or somebody else. But you start figuring out someone's got to make room if you want to get into the dance. Same thing in the East with the Rangers, the Penguins, the Panthers. So they're all really good teams. Right now, only the Rangers, I think, are in a playoff spot. If the other 2 are going to get in, 2 teams are going to have to. So it's going to be fun to watch.
I thank Kevin for answering the bell. Kevin the Medium, when I say, can you put into a couple of sentences how to explain these random coincidences? And he said, here's the answer. The universe will always ensure to put you in the right spot at the right time. From there, it's our responsibility to act on the opportunity. And I will take 30 seconds on that, just to take that a little further. When I got the opportunity to go speak to the Chiefs 10, 15, 20 years ago, I would have turned down that opportunity. I turned down thousands of opportunities because I was too shy, because I was ashamed, because I didn't think I had anything to offer. And it's just been within the past couple of years where it's like, no, step up, young man. Well, I'm not young anymore, but you know what I mean. You need to walk through the door. Somebody just opened a door. You need to walk through the door. And that's why I'm coaching people now individually, goalies, entertainers, soldiers, no matter what it is. When the lights on you, it's kind of unnerving. You've heard the story. One of the guys I was sober coaching, I don't think I ever told you his name, but I went down. He's from Minnesota, okay? And I'm watching him. Start of the game, every light in the arena goes out. It's all black. Spotlight. Boom! On the door, the open door of the rink, in the corner of the boards. And out comes my guy. And I was like, ooh. I just got very nervous for him. I'm sitting there coaching him how to not make the moment too big. Do what you do. And that's what I told those Chiefs players. I said, don't get too wound up about Friday night's game against American Heritage, the number 11 team in the country. Enjoy your week of prep, because this is what you do, and this is the best time of your life. Just make sure you enjoy it. And you go to work with your brothers in this room. And don't let each other down. We'll be back with more right after this. It's the RP Show, Game Plus TV, most days. YouTube Live and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your knee, leading to joint damage or even a permanent disability. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersenshop.com.
Okay, we are back here on the old RP Show. Got some great comments coming in here. 902-518-3033. This really is the most beautiful place in the world. Most that I've been. Okay, I know there are others. A lot of people like Hawaii. But anyways, just to finish up on what we were talking about earlier, or maybe we will continue it, Darren. Kevin, the medium, with his thoughts on the universe at work. Troy in Toronto, Colmer writes in, he says, now that is the commentary I come here for, as well as the sports talk. Truth bomb drop. Wayne in BC says, what you're talking about now puts you head and shoulders above the average sports talk show. From Ryan in New York, I didn't know I was getting daily inspiration with my sports talk today. Love it. And from John Ohm, the RP show is more than sports. It's about inspiring others to be better to ourselves and others. Love it. And Jeff, the Stamps fan, someone needs to open a drive-through fast food joint just for boats in Florida. You'd think they have them. They have drive-through gas stations for boats, obviously. But, yeah. And the thing is, this is where I stopped caring. I got my Florida football peeps writing in. They just met me not that long ago, some of these guys. And I'm over it. A lot of that world across Canada doesn't like me, sports, media, entertainment, and both. I don't care, but I don't want to be around it. And it's, you name me what newspaper columnist or what talk show is being asked to come into a football locker room and give a motivational speech to the 16th ranked team in America. Not that many. And it's funny, Coach DeBuck, you never did ask me what the intro was. Moose, I'll tell you. He goes, you guys watch ESPN, you see all the commentators, this is Canada's version of that. I'm like, right? Not really, but sure. What do these kids know? You know, let's go with that. Yeah. And then once I stood there in the middle of the room, something took over me, and I think a lot of us know what it is. And I was like, I got to dial it back here. I'm doing a Newt Rockney. By the way, have you started watching Tulsa King yet? Tulsa King?
No, I haven't. Where?
That's the next one.
Okay.
Well, we saw it during the Yellowstones. They're running all these. Serena's the expert on the streaming options, okay? Expert.
Right.
So I don't know if it's Peacock or Paramount. It's all different than your Amazon Prime. Like, it's different between the two countries. I used to think that there was the only thing between Canada and America, the only difference was this virtual 49th parallel line. And now I realize, no, the two countries could not be any more different than it couldn't be more different. It's hard to believe that we got teams in one league from both countries, MLB, NBA, NHL, because they couldn't be more different. So, and by the way, Kevin, the medium, says, good things happen to good people. Thank you, Kevin. And he says, oh my God, great show, Paramount. And just to give you, you said you've seen the promos for it, Darren?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's Sylvester Stallone, who incidentally is 76. That's the one.
Okay,
Silver-haired
promos. I didn't know what it was called.
Yeah, so I'll give you the little snapshot here. You got to go check it out. There's 15 NHL games tonight, so I don't know if you'll have time. I know we're going to be watching it, but like, I'm already hooked. I'm sitting there. Well, it's from Taylor Sheridan, same guy that wrote and produced and came up with Yellowstone. Same guy.
Yeah.
It's from his brain. Sylvester Stallone is a New York mafia god who went to jail for 25 years, gets out, and realizes he's not running the mafia anymore. So he gets sent away to Tulsa to take over Tulsa. So he goes in there and starts doing mob things in Tulsa, and hilarity ensues. And to be honest, it is pretty funny stuff. Like, it's funny, but you wouldn't want to screw with Sylvester Stallone, let's put it that way. Although some people do. That's the basis of the show. So, Arlen Bruce III says, by the way, tonight begins a new moon. Oh, great. I got to look at this a little more. Wow.
What's in retrograde now?
That's what I mean. Yeah, what does that mean? AB, why don't you tell us? Dentor says that Sylvester's 75 years old. I looked it up last night. It says he's 76. Can we get a ruling on that? I don't have time to go to the big board here right now. He's 76 years old. Don't doubt me. Rod Monroe says, thanks, team, for an entertaining 2 hours. The joke's on the viewers. It's been more entertaining for you and me.
How about that?
Oh, Dentor says Stallone is playing a 75-year-old. Wow. What acting range. A 76-year-old playing a 75-year-old.
Beautiful.
Wayne in BC says, hey, Rod, have you seen the Yellowstone prequel, 1883 yet? I wanted to watch it, but going by my brother, he said, don't. And he's a cowboy. If a cowboy says don't watch the cowboy show, you can pretty much go. You know how you don't trust a skinny chef?
Yeah.
Don't. You know how you don't trust a fat personal trainer? Trust a cowboy on whether or not to watch the cowboy show. We're going to break, okay? We're going to break and come back with overtime, a sports update. So now we're really going to turn it over to the viewers when we come back. And Rose in Edmonton, she's written in with some interesting comments. So we'll get to that. It's the RP Show. One more segment coming up. Here today on YouTube Live, your favorite podcast platform as always in WQEE 99.1 F.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Casino dancing.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might fracture your wrist, resulting in a lifetime of painful arthritis. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina. And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM-certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big, and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Getting a lot of interesting comments regarding Canada getting ready to take the pitch. People have said if you want to see inspirational, how about 2,000 people cheering on Canada in Qatar? For sure it is. From Ryan O'Radio, our spirit brother in Newnan, Georgia. He says, another awesome show with RP and Moose. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate you. Thanks for flying the ship down there in Georgia. Moose, bear with me here as I read a sports update, okay? Ritsu Down and Takuma Osada scored late goals to give Japan a 2-1 win over Germany at the World Cup today. Before the game, Germany's players covered their mouths during the team photo in an apparent rebuke to FIFA. Why is this in this stupid sports update? Just give me the score.
Oh, no.
Morocco held 2018 finalist Croatia to a 0-0 draw at the World Cup today in another strong performance by a team from an Arab country. Morocco's promising performance comes one day after Saudi Arabia shocked Argentina 2-1 and Tunisia tied Denmark 0-0. Canada, again, just about to take to the pitch against Belgium. The injury-plagued Toronto Raptors limp back into action tonight as they host the Brooklyn Nets. The circus is in town, the Brooklyn Nets. Raps are without several regulars, including star Spicy P, and Scotty Barnes is out with a left knee sprain. This sports update for Ballers Rec Room, your official home of Slow Pitch, open Wednesday through Sunday for the Tab Brewhouse and Drive-Thru Liquor Store, and for Red Bull Canada. Red Bull gives you wings. I saw social media advertising really does work. I saw a post on Instagram for the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino where they are hosting watch parties, Darren, for every one of Canada's games in the World Cup, right at the Stage Bar. We miss them as much as they miss us, the Stage Bar in Calgary. So, again, give me the sense of where you're at, then I'll give you the sense where I'm at with Canada playing today. I could feel energy coming from Canada.
Yeah, I really can. I think it's building. And the closer we get to the start of that game, the more excitement that builds. Like, my social media feeds are getting filled with it. And everybody's excited. Whether you're a soccer fan, not a soccer fan, I think Canada's really excited. And I'm seeing more people than I thought over there in Qatar for the games. So that's really cool to see too. So it'll be interesting to see how much red and how many Canadian supporters are actually in the crowd tonight. But definitely here in Canada, we're all rooting for the team.
By the way, note to producer Clark, you probably saw, because I did, that AJ Jakubek, our good friend, is over there, the voice of the Ottawa Red Blacks, the Ottawa 67s, and Ottawa Atletico soccer. So maybe at some point, yeah, Hustler there too. I was on his show the other day. So at some point, maybe we can get one or two or both of them from Slurp. Seems like quite a dude, this Slurp. He says, great show as usual, Rod, Dupes, and your team. Thank you. Between your show and Hustlers Winnipeg Sports Talk, it makes my week more enjoyable. That's exactly what we want, is that. I appreciate you for saying that, Slurp. Thanks for watching. Kevin the Medium says he might be ripping his shirt off in advance of this game. He has a thing, Kevin the Medium, about taking his shirt off and whipping it over his head for large Canada game. I don't get it, but you do you. From Dentor says, good to see you guys doing so well. Rod and Darren, cheers from Saskatoon. Wink, wink. Dentor. Clearly he wants his identity kept anonymous. Remember the guy we were with at the sports bar in Saskatoon that covered his BlackBerry with the napkin because he didn't know who was listening? That's who I think that is. I'm not sure, though. You want to say something, but you don't want to say something, I can tell.
Yeah,
Dentor,
you're pretty smart.
Dentor, thanks for tuning in. Big CFL fan, which is the perfect winding this up in the 3 minutes that we have left. Rose in Edmonton, I said that she had a great point. She has written in 902-518-3033. You always can. She says, I usually go to 2 or 3 away games every CFL season. I would love to go to the States for an Esks game. I literally see... Oh, I got him. I got the right guy. He just wrote LMAO. Here's what I see from that CFL perspective, and we should say this more for a Football Friday, but everybody wants expansion into the States except for the people that are in Canada in the league because they feel that it'll threaten their jobs. I've said it before. I like the term fiefdom. Some people call it fiefdom. It's an exclusive little club of presidents and GMs and some coaches that don't want to see any change because they're making good bank. They love the product and they don't want to see any innovation. Nothing changed. Why would they? They don't want to get uncomfortable. They're very comfortable. They're getting paid. Who gives a rat's ass about the future people in this league or the people below them? That's what I really believe. Whereas the rest of us, like I'm not in the league anymore. Maybe I'd have felt the same way when I was in the league. I don't remember. It was a long time ago now. But I would like to see 9, 10 USA teams. I don't ever want to leave where I am right here. I will sit here and do this show. It's going great. We're talking sports every day. You know, when I left that writer job, you know, I considered doing a writer podcast. My gosh. With the COVID happening and wiping out a season, I'd have been out of business. And to sit here now with our relationship with the CFL and try and do a CFL-only show, we'd starve. We'd starve doing a CFL-only daily show. That's a fact. With no participation with them. So that's why I don't really want to sit here and talk about it every day. Why do you think they're against any change whatsoever? You've got a little under 90 seconds.
Not enough time to get into it. I mean, it's tough when times are tough, you try and lean into exactly what's brought you success in the past and you shy away from investing into growing for the future. It becomes difficult, but far too much to get into in less than a minute.
All right. And like I said, we'll do that on a Friday or something. There's just so many other leagues that are evolving, changing, growing, doing exciting things. And the CFL doesn't want to do any of that. And I'm tired of talking about it. Bill in Regina has sent us a photo of us on his one screen and the Canada game on another. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate you. He writes 2 shows at once. Tomorrow, U.S. Thanksgiving, we will be on the air. And Friday, too, we'll be talking about the 15 NHL games. The Atlanta Hawks kicking Sacramento's butt tonight. # true to the ATL. Here come the Hawks. Raptors, the Nets, these World Cup games, what's happened in the dub. We got a lot to get to tomorrow. We'll see you at noon Eastern here on The Big Show.
Who has more fun than us?
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.